Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome very much to Let's Create Africa this evening. Today is the 6th of July. Wow, I even forgot the dates. Today is the 6th of July, and we are happy to have our gracious, very gracious guest today. That is Patience Nyange. Patience, can you hear me? Okay, and she's stepping in a few. Patience, are you there?
Yes, I am. How about you?
Brilliant. Good. We can see you very well. And thank you for joining us. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, we have Patience Nyange this evening, MPRSK and Executive Director of AMWIK. For those who don't know AMWIK, I won't say the full words. I'll let her introduce it. But before she gets there, thank you. I would like to give some thanks and kudos to KYR Africa, which is a civic and civil support platform where you can participate and talk and know about your rights. That's KYR Africa. You can find it online. That's Know Your Rights Africa. The Future of Work, which is also a jobs creation platform, Startinev, an innovation accelerator, and yours truly, Let's Create Africa, an entrepreneur support organization leveraging on comms, PR, and media. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce my guest, Patience Nyange. She is, again, MPRSK, a communications media and advocacy specialist with over 18 years of experience. Patience is the executive director, or in other words, ED, of the Association of Media Women in Kenya, that is AMWIK Kenya, and has worked with both international and local media houses. So, without further ado, Patience, I would like you to please take over from here henceforth. It's your show, finally. So please introduce yourself and let people just know who you are and what you do and what you're about, including who you are as the girl, not the professional.
Okay. Asante sana Wahiga. I didn't know for a long time that your name has an I-Y-E. I thought it was Wahiga. So every time I wanted to text you, I would look for Wahiga and I couldn't find you. And then finally I realized, oh, I saved you as Wahiga because that's what your cat had. Thank
It's
you
okay.
for having me online today. This is really such an interesting conversation. Let's create Africa. And I'm happy to say, let's create Africa together. So, thank you for this engagement. I am happy to spend another 1 hour with you. I know we have met in many forums. You are a good friend to me, and I'm sure everybody else who works with you are friends by extension. My name is Patience Nyange. I am a daughter of the county of Taita Taveta. My governor is Andrew Modime. And I come from a small constituency called Undani constituency. I hail from a small village called Kisorongoni. Many years ago, well, it's been almost 40 years now. So I am very happy to be in this country today and also just to be alive and to celebrate the gift of life. I have been in the media industry for the last, I would say, working for about 16, 17 years now. But of course, also as a student at Daystar University, where I did my undergraduate. So let's say I have been in the media industry for the last 20 years. That's how I like to say it. Because when as a student, you're actually learning through the whole time media and communication. So, well, I've been here for a while. I've been in radio, which is my first love. I still love radio. I enjoy radio. When I went to campus to study to be a TV reporter. I'll tell you, many years down the line, I have never done TV reporting, but I fell in love with radio, which is where I did my first internship. I went to Baraka FM in Mombasa and I fell in love with radio. And then after Mombasa, I came to Nairobi briefly and worked for KBC shortly, and also did some work for internews before I left the country to go to Norway and worked for the Norwegian Broadcasting Corporation. In the year 2011, I came back to Kenya and joined the BBC Media Action, working briefly for BBC as well. And then I said 8 years down the line, goodbye. I'm happy to be working within the media space, but I would love to move to the public relations. And thereafter, since the year 2014, my first instinct was baptism by fire. I joined Madam Anway Guru as communication advisor, which is work I enjoyed and really molded me into who I am today. But so I would say I have enjoyed my life is within media and communications, and I call myself a communications and media practitioner and professional. As a young girl, I was a bit, maybe a bit, other people will say a bit, but well, for me, I think I was young and loud. I am not that girl anymore. Yeah, and I know the first time I told you that, you said, Really?" I said, "Yes, I always was." So nowadays I try to say I am a bit composed. and yeah, and old enough to be able to know when to be loud and not to be loud. So here I am. Thank you for having me on board.
Karibu sana, young and loud. I hope you've read the book, Young, Loud, and Black. I'm sure you've read that.
Yes.
But so tell us more about your background and especially what drove you into the space that you are in from the time you were in your mother's and father's house or your parents' house. Like, who's that girl? Before we even get into the nitty gritties of your profession, which definitely is out there and your accolades are known, but who are you as the person? Where did you come from? What mattered to you most that led you to where you are today?
Well, interesting question. So as I said, I am a daughter of my mom. My dad's name is Mr. Danso Nyange. My father passed on in 2014. My mom is still alive. Her name is Mrs. Ann Nyange, and I am the second born in a family of five. I have an elder brother, and then I have a younger sister, two younger sisters, and a younger brother as well. So as a young girl, between my brother and I, we have about less than 2 years difference. So for a long time, I didn't think that I always thought he was my twin in a way, because we always grew up looking like we were twins. He had a small body, I had a big body. He was an introvert, I was an extrovert. Well, I was very loud, and he was very composed and very young. So in my village, your mother is named after the first. I mean, she will always be given the name of the firstborn. In my village, there were women who will call my mother by my name. So I have a middle name, which is Sanguli. A number of you know it. So instead of them calling my elder brother is Eliakim, so Mamake Eliakim, they will go Mamake Patience, because then they will remember me more. So by the time they were walking past our village, they would be shouting my mother's name by using my name. So that will tell you that Patience was the loudest, the child in the family. But one of the things that I'm grateful for is the fact that my parents were very open-minded in raising us. We were raised not knowing that there was the boy is more privileged. Of course, in Kenyan setting, men are more privileged than women are. But I knew that we had an equal say, and that has shaped my life to today, that I know for a fact that I have a say, and I don't miss my words when I need to. I wasn't asked or I wasn't taught how to lower my voice if I needed to speak out. My parents made us believe, especially my father, that education was an equalizer. And he reminded us many times that the only gift I will give you, a foundation as a child, will be the education that I will give you. You can go as far as you want as long as I'm alive. And he actually ensured that all of us will see the door to the higher university, the five of us, or to the higher education, that is universities. And he always said, if you want to go to undergraduate, master's, or PhD, always remember that my door is open. I will do everything to see that I can educate you. And that shaped us as a family, that knowing that all of us had an opportunity, and it didn't matter who you were, either a girl or not. And it didn't matter how much money he was going to spend to you. And this is evidenced by the fact that I went to Daystar University, which many of us will remember that it was such a expensive university. My elder brother was in a public university, and therefore my father was really spending all his money on me. But he didn't remind me that as a girl,
Hello, Patience, we've lost you. Can you hear us? Okay. Patience Nyange, thank you for joining us. I hope you can hear us or you can join us at some point soon. As we continue, we say thank you for joining us this evening. For those who don't know, again, about Patience, and she's back, actually. Patience, can you still hear us?
yes, I can. So sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
there
You
was a power.
disappeared there for a minute.
Yes, I realized my
It's okay.
Wi-Fi went
Thank you
off,
to,
so I've just changed it again.
it's okay. Thank you for having you back. We're happy to have you back. So, for those who had just lost her for a few minutes, though now she's back, I was saying Patience Nyange, she's a Chevening scholar holding a master's degree in international public relations and global communication management from Cardiff University, UK. So, Patience, you are actually talking about you being in university at Daystar and how your brother perceived it and how the family also perceived it. Please, you may continue from there. It's
Yeah,
okay.
thank you very much. Thank you, and apologies for that.
No
Well,
worries.
so I was going to say that how I look at life today is that women, men, we all have equal opportunities. The life that you have is how you shape it. Really, it's what we do with the opportunities that you have. So as a young girl, I was reminded I was equal. I was reminded that I was competent. I was always reminded by my parents that I was able to create the life that I envisioned for myself. And I am always very grateful that 8 years down the line, 9 years today, that my father is not here, but there are many things that I do, remembering his wisdom and his insights and values that he installed in us. So that is really basically the shaping of my life. I grew up knowing that all of us, as the girls in that, we were three, with two male siblings. We all had an opportunity in life, and I have carried that in my life. That knowing that I will create the life and the future that I would like to have in my life. And here I am, many years down the line, creating the life that I enjoy. I keep saying I don't feel like I work in my life. Everything that I do is always out of passion. I work with bosses that I like because I choose where to be at whatever time I want to be. I like to be able to really defend women and girls because I come from a community where it's very patriarchal. I also see how many women don't believe in themselves, or many women don't see like they have equal opportunities. There's always a way that you're brought up as a woman, and almost all the time, from the time you're growing up as a young daughter and the time you're really getting to womanhood, and everybody has a say in who you should be, how you should speak, how you should smile, how you should be talking. And I feel it's such a tiring way of living, for a woman. And I keep saying in a very, jokingly way, wanawake wa Kenya watafika mbinguni kama tumechoka sana. You know?
Okay.
So you're always
So
trying to balance emotions, trying to balance everybody else's expectations of you, societal expectations. It's too much. So for me, as Patience, I've chosen to live the life that I like.
interesting. Just borrowing from that, because you've mentioned something very interesting. I will assume, with your permission, to say that you're a feminist, right?
Oh, unapologetic.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
kindly take us through that. What does that mean to you? You've already explained where it came from. So why is that something you believe in highly and something you support?
So my understanding of feminism is different from how many people believe what feminism is. A lot of the time, people look at us as, bitter women, women who are men haters, women who are, whatever. We're not bitter for no reason. And if we are bitter, it's okay for women to be bitter. And I'm sure all the time we are bitter because of injustices that are within our society and that really push us to be bitter for one reason or another. But my kind of feminism is really the feminism that gives women and men equal opportunities. And now I like to say women, men, and other genders equal opportunities. We're in a society where we acknowledge that there could be more than two genders. So what I mean is, for me, a society that respects all of us from a basic understanding of human rights. That our human rights defines who we are, and as long as you are human, well, you're equal, deserving. You have equal rights to whatever opportunities that we have, and that's how I look at it. For a long time, I have gotten to rooms where I'm the only woman because one, I know that I'm a woman. Number two, I've probably dressed in my dresses or skirts or something, and so I'm different because when we take these group photos, then I can only see myself in a different outfit. But you know what? I never remember that I was in that room as a woman. I always know that I'm in that room because I'm capable, because I'm deserving to be in that room, and my voice needs to be honored and dignified. And therefore, that's what I look at. All my mentees coming behind me, and I love to mentor young girls, is to tell them that you have an equal opportunity. You have no one should look at you as a lesser human being simply because you're a woman. Because the society for a long time has, and you can see the photos that we have seen previously. A lot of the photos that we have seen whether it's cabinet photos in our own country or sometimes even internationally, are all photos that have men and men in the trousers. And you realize, even from a personal perspective, well, I wear trousers, but I would love to be in my skirts and I'd love to be in my dresses, just to be able to really dignify my femininity and to just remind myself that I'm a woman, because it's one of those things that always remind me that, Patience, you are a woman. And therefore, I want to be different. I feel like those photos are very boring, if you ask me. I feel like those photos need to be, of course, haven't you seen those photos, how boring they can be? Yeah. They're
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
yeah. Yeah. Maybe you might refuse for now, but hopefully one day you will agree that if you see all those all men photos in their suits, and of course in their suits most of the time, no one has kitenge suit. So people have either black, gray, or navy blue. Yeah, I find them boring. So I feel like the world is beautiful, or the world is better with more women in it. And every time you take a
Hmm.
photo that has women, and of course we will come in our colorful nature, we will come in with our lipsticks, we will come in with, even if we're going to wear blazers, like I'm wearing a black blazer, I'm wearing a very colorful dress. So at the end of it all, there's some beauty we bring in. And there's also, if everybody's talking there and you're in a group of all men talking, it feels like you're in a bar. But if you are in a really setup where women are, it feels different, because once in a while you'll hear a different voice altogether. You will see different smiles altogether. The world is beautiful with more women in it.
Interesting. So, what led you into media in the first place? I mean, there are so many other niches you could have picked on. There are so many other industries you could have picked on. Why media of all the places?
So my dad's idea of me was to be a lawyer, which I think he was right. But then I felt like law was boring. I'm very colorful in my own way, in my personality. I want to believe so. And I felt like I only knew one lawyer at that time. And having asked a few questions or understanding of what law is, all I could hear or all I could see were heavy books for me to read. Number one. Number two was no color in my dressing. And number three was to really carry people's uh, burdens, because all the time I felt like lawyers were here, to defend even murderers. I can't do that. So I felt like I needed key considerations for me was the fact that I can use my voice. Number two is the fact that I wanted to travel the world. Number three is the fact that I wanted the freedom to dress as I wished. And so those three things I felt like they can only be found in media. I ask questions. I was very inquisitive as a young girl, and most of the time, I know my dad will ask me, "Did you have to ask all those questions?" And I said yes. And of course, every time, I mean, I'm not the person who will always be told something and I will say yes. I'll be asking why, and I love to ask why. So
Hello, Patience. We've lost you again. We hope you'll be able to join us in a few. Can you hear us, Patience? Okay. So, for those who are still with us, thank you very much for joining us. And we've lost Patience for a bit there, but we hope she'll be back. As I was saying before, Patience is a Chevening scholar holding a master's degree in international public relations, global communication management from Cardiff University, UK. In this webinar, Patience is seeking actually to discuss her journey as a communications professional and her work within the media space, and her work to promote also gender equality and human rights in Kenya and Africa as a whole. She is sharing today. Patience, can you hear us?
yes, I can. So sorry, I think
Yes,
I lost
thank
you
you.
again. Yeah.
No worries. She is also sharing her insights on the future of communications in Africa. And thank you for joining us again, Patience. So you are continuing on to the conversation about
Media.
why you are in media and why you chose media in the first place, not forgetting that you actually said when you saw a lawyer, you got bored. But minus that, please, lawyers in the house, don't take it personally. um, as you continue with that, so continue on to what brought you into media and why you drove further into it, because you're still going on further. You've continued in the industry for quite a long time and have focused again on matters gender equality and supporting women, also supporting men, because I've also seen that at the same time. Um, and supporting the principles of JEDI, which is justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. So please continue.
Yeah, so thank you for having me, and apologies for that disconnection. So, as I said,
No worries.
I wanted to tell stories. I like to ask the question why. I felt media will give me the opportunity to travel the world. I have traveled to about 39 countries today. I enjoy traveling. I have many bags in my house, and everybody who comes to my store always asks, all these bags, all these suitcases. I'm always lucky because I'm always ready to travel. And sometimes, I have come to the house and showered and moved to the next airport. And so I have called to say, please pack for me this and this and this. So I always like to have an extra suitcase because I'm ready to go anytime. As long as I have my passport and as long as I have a flight ticket or as long as I have an SGR ticket, I'm happy to pack my bags and to go because I really, really enjoy visiting different places and just getting to talk to different people and just getting to network and meet new people. So I felt like media will give me that. I also enjoyed writing and I enjoyed languages. So I knew I would be safe in this space because then I can listen to people's stories. I love to listen to people's stories and I'm happy to document the same. I am happy to tell the stories to other people. So having looked at all that, I felt like I was home in media. I felt like this is going to be journalism was going to be my home, and well, none of my family members, my entire extended family members, knew anything about journalism in terms of what does it feel to be a journalist? How does this feel as a profession? And so well, I tried to convince my parents that I would because they really wanted to know who is really inspiring you to do this. And I kept saying, I feel like it's the voice inside me. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'll be home there. Yeah. And then my father said, but if you want to travel, you can also do something to do with tourism. And I'm like, what exactly? I just didn't know. I said, I'm not traveling for the sake of traveling. I want to travel and tell stories. I want to travel and just, document what it is that I'm seeing. So, well, as I said, my parents have been very supportive, or they were very supportive. That time, even as a young girl who just said, this is all I want to do. And so my father said, it's fine, Patience, as long as one day you'll not come back telling us, you misled me, we're happy to support you. And so my journey into media and communication started. And I remember I still have my autograph for high school. I said many years down the line, you will meet me as a journalist. So I'm sure you will hear my voice or you read my stories. And I think many people have done that. And I remember my classmates who remind me when we meet, finally you you went to become a journalist just like you really wanted to. And I said, yes. And as a child who always raised their hands when the teachers asked, who will read these extracts? My hand was always up. I'm happy to read the extras. I just loved languages, and Swahili and English was really one of my key languages. And I know even now I speak better Swahili than I do in English. So I will easily pass for a bilingual journalist, and I enjoy it. And so, yeah, those are my reasons for really joining journalism. And indeed, when I joined journalism, I have gotten exactly what I was looking for. I have the freedom to dress as I wish. In BBC, I went with my jeans Monday to Friday, and no one questioned me. And I really enjoy that. And so I have the freedom to travel the world. I have done that. I have really gone from county to county. I've gone to all the 47 counties in this country. And now I do just a repeat job. Like, I will move from one place to another just to visit. But I cleared all the 47 counties in the year 2016. And so the countries, I'm still counting countries. I hope to have done at least 50 by the time I turn 50, which hopefully maybe I will have done that. So maybe 100, but I would love to really get to 100 even before I get to 70, if God gives me many years ahead of me. And then having written stories about people, I have done that at a personal level. I love to write stories about women, to just document their journey in leadership, to document their journey, to really understand what is it that makes them tick. How has their journey been? Women have many, we go through many struggles in life. So for those who've been at the leadership level, because that's where I aspire to be, I've always wanted to understand what is their journey like. What really inspired them? What are the challenges that they had to face? And how do they overcome those challenges? So I've run a show that is called a digital series called Kenya Women Series, and documented about 53 women stories together with my colleagues, Esther Karago and Nancy Marango, in the year 2021 all the way to 2022. And then just really getting to do interviews with those women to get challenges. I love to hang around women. All my bosses in my life have been women. I know that is something people don't know, but it's true. My first boss in Baraka FM was Sheila Maina, a woman that I truly admired, who remains to be a mentor to me today. And then when I moved to Nairobi briefly, well, let's say because Nairobi was a short stint, but when I went to Norwegian Broadcasting Corporation in Norway, my boss too was a woman. Her name was Pamela Melhus, or her name is Pamela Melhus, who still remains a dear friend to me. When I came back to Kenya and joined the BBC Media Action, my boss was Sheila Masinde. A number of you know her. She's the executive director at the Transparency International, and Sheila still is a senior to me and also a mentor to me. And even in this space that we are in within the civil society and media, we still meet almost on a day-to-day basis. So she's a woman that I truly, truly admire. And then after BBC Media Action, when I joined the ministry, my first stint at the government, I worked under AMWIK Guru as the communication advisor, and that was another woman, firehouse, powerhouse. And well, yeah, I learned, and I know for sure I'll not be where I am if I didn't go through Waiguru's hand. Yeah, that is baptism by fire. It was, but of course I learned a lot, and she's a woman I truly, truly respect, and she's still a friend to me.
Interesting. Interesting. So
just hold
sorry.
on. After that, I went to the National Commission on Human Rights and worked under Madam Kagwira Bogori. Another woman is my boss. So I am truly, founded and let's say shaped by women, and women who are really fire blazers or trailblazers in this country.
Thank you for that rundown. Very good rundown, actually. And you've mentioned quite some powerhouses at the same time. And I'm not talking about the organization, but the people by themselves. So in lieu of that, what are the biggest challenges you faced or seen? And better yet, I would like to know the ones that you faced as a woman in media in Africa today. And also for other women, what have you seen? Yes.
Well, I think there are a number of challenges that women go through. And in Africa, in Kenya and in Africa as a continent, I think our challenge is the beauty of us being women is the fact that when we meet other women, you realize we are all the same in a way. The only thing that is different at that level is really the place that we are in. So now, let me just tell you my problem right now, because I clearly see I'm going to have a problem. I told you. And completely, this is really the devil working against this conversation today. So first, went off because I'm at home, and simply because, the Wi-Fi goes off. I mean, the electricity has gone off, and that means also the Wi-Fi has gone off. The generator, I don't know whether it's working or not working. I really don't know what's happening. And now, my battery, I'm getting a response here. Battery saver is on. Please consider plugging. Let me see if you can do the battery saver thing. And then, please consider. Well, it tells me that I have from this 28 minutes. So, well, I think that's good enough. And then
that's good enough.
That's good enough. And most likely, probably I'm going to move to my phone just in case. So
that's okay.
I just meant to say this in advance, just in case I disappear at some point.
That is okay.
Yeah. So you asked about the challenges that women face, and especially within the media industry. So, one is really the acceptance that you can do this job as a woman. The societal expectations of women can be, and who women can be, and the kind of glass ceilings they can get to has not completely changed. Last year, a number of you know that I put myself in the race in Taita Taveta County to run for the gubernatorial race. And I will assure you, I thought my community had moved a long time ago, but I realized that we haven't really moved far, because the conversation all the time, it looked like, why are you vying for the governor position? There was the question, why? And I asked myself, but why not? My always response has been when somebody asks me, why am I doing something? The answer question is, why not? Is this a preserve for specific people? And you realize that, the society still thinks there are specific positions for women. There are glass ceilings for women. That is true. And also just really the understanding that women can be, but cannot be in some positions. So I have really had to struggle with that. But the understanding that I'm equal and adequate and capable has led me to where I am today. I don't second doubt myself. I have my credentials to put on the table. I have my certification and really my smart education that I am always very proud of. So I have done my best when it comes to my education. I have also done my best in giving the best in the workplaces that I have worked in. So I always say, like, for me, those are my guiding principles in terms of, can I define myself that I'm equally deserving to be in specific places? But I've also seen that there are many women who will outrightly tell you that they wanted to get to specific positions, but of course, those positions looked like they were preserved for specific people. And when we try to unpack which people, of course, it wasn't the women, it was men in most cases. Number two, in the spaces that we're working in, sexual harassment and discrimination, of course, has been one of those key challenges that have affected women in our industry. For example, a recent report that was released not long ago, I think early this year, by one IFRA, which is Women in Newsroom, it states that 1 in every 2 women have gone through sexual harassment in our newsrooms in Kenya. Well, we are moving to a different stage altogether, and what we're trying to look at now, we have a research that is being commissioned by AMWIK, Association of Media Women in Kenya, in conjunction with the Thomson Reuters Foundation, to look at sexual harassment as a form of media capture. So I'm curious, I am interested in this research, in this study, to see what we really get and to see whether for sure we can completely say in our country, sexual harassment has been one of those reasons that
Hello, Patience. We've lost you again. I hope you're somewhere close. So for those who are catching up, thank you for joining us today, the 6th of July, for this conversation with Patience Nyange, who's MPRSK, that's member of PR, Public Relations Society of Kenya, and the Executive Director for AMWIK Kenya. For those who don't know, AMWIK stands for Association of Media Women in Kenya. So Patience joins us today as a communications, media, and advocacy specialist with over 18 years of experience. She is a Chevening scholar, holding a master's degree in international public relations and global communication management from Cardiff University, UK. In this webinar, she is talking and discussing her journey as a communications professional and her work to promote gender equality and human rights in Kenya and Africa. She will also share her insights on the future of communications in Africa. So for those who haven't been able to join us, please go to Let's Create Africa on YouTube, Instagram, and any other platform, that is Twitter, and also, let me see if I've forgotten any other, Facebook, so that you can just subscribe and join. Please subscribe, like, and share. Let's Create Africa. That's LETS. Create, CREATE, Africa, AFRICA. Please join us and subscribe to Let's Create Africa TV, so that we are able to actually be updating you on whatever's happening. We'll also put a link on this chat so that you can subscribe, and anytime we have a show coming on, you can be able to join in. For those who haven't also gotten more information about Patience, Patience is a passionate advocate for women's rights and gender equality. She is also a strong believer in the power of the media to promote social change. In her work with AMWIK, Patience has helped and mentored young journalists and PR practitioners. She has previously served as a board member at the Global Alliance of Public Relations and Communication Management and at the Media Council of Kenya. So, Patience, we are happy to have you once again join us. Thank you, Gladys, for that. Patience Nyange is a powerhouse. Thank you for that. I'm looking forward to listening to all your questions and comments. We are waiting to see if she'll be able to rejoin, a technical hitch, but she'll be able to rejoin in a few minutes. We'd like just to see some questions. We'd like to see some comments. I see somebody who asked about challenges in media for women. Thank you because of that great question. And as we wait, we allow you to just go through a short break with us as we await for Patience. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you for joining us once again. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. Finally.
Did you?
Thank you for getting back as soon as you could. And these are some of the challenges you're saying women are facing, actually. And wow, we didn't know it would actually be literal in the sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
please continue. You were talking about the challenges that women are facing. And you talked about how you enter boardrooms and even dealing with government. And now you were talking about the research that AMWIK is doing.
Okay. So clearly, I have been talking to myself for the longest. My apologies. I mean,
It's
really.
okay.
I hope I'll remember all my points.
It's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for having me back. So I spoke about women being underrepresented. Let me just start. Did I talk about sexual harassment?
Yes, you did.
I did, right? Or rather, did
Mhm.
you hear about that?
Yes, we
And
did.
so I was at where women are underrepresented, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I said within the newsrooms, women are underrepresented, and they don't sit in key decision-making positions. And we in Kenya, we can, mention names of the women that we know for sure are seated at the decision-making tables. When it comes to editors, producers, and directors, most of the time we have male colleagues seated there. Therefore, this lack of representation affects the type and quality of stories produced, as well as the overall perspective presented to audience. And as AMIC, we have done a research before comparing to how women were represented during electioneering period, and just really trying to compare the portrayal of male versus the portrayal of female candidates. And in most cases, when it comes to women, the issues that we are talking about when it comes to women is about women personal representation or representation. So it's about where do you come from? Are you married? Are you not married? How many kids do you have? And all those things for sure are not really equal to what we ask when it comes to male candidates. When it comes to gender stereotyping and unequal division of labor in newsrooms, most of the time you see our female colleagues for a long time, women face limited opportunities. And now it's changing because we have also been a bit aggressive to say I'm equal to the opportunity and I'm happy to be able to present to report on specific matters. For a while, women will be given what we call soft topics, the likes of lifestyle, entertainment, and that's what we're really presenting about. Rather than being given equal opportunities to cover political, economic, or even investigative stories. A lot of the time, this was really a preserve of men. So, for a long time, the gender stereotyping within the newsroom affects who women can be or cannot be. When it comes to safety and security concerns, women face challenges in reporting, especially in conflict zones. And most of the time, especially you have seen during mandamanos, it's men who are there. And even for the women who have gone there, especially during the first few days of mandamanos, we had women who were clobbered. And that already made women feel like, oh, I don't want to be in this space. And for us, what you've constantly reminded people, colleagues within the industry is no story is worth your life. So try and see that, wherever you are, be in a secure space first. But women continue to face violence, threats, and intimidation due to gender making. And sometimes it's really hard for them to do their best. Online harassment and cyberbullying. Who are the biggest victims when it comes to that? Women. And women journalists, just in the like shares, it will be women politicians and women leaders continue to face immeasurable size of, we say, cyberbullying and harassment. Women journalists go a lot of abuse and cyberbullying. Most of the time, you have seen people because they're considered public figures. And just because they're not really doing what we would say you're in a public space or doing a public service, but they continue to face a lot of threats, hate speech, inappropriate comments, sexist comments, misogynic comments, everything. So AMIC has a handbook just to try and see how women can combat online violence. And this was really informed by the fact that many of the women working within our space have registered online harassment and cyberbullying as a threat to who they can become. Lack of childcare policy, for example, within the media spaces. A number of women join the media spaces in their early ages. By the time you leave campus, you're 20, 21. I started working when I was 21. And by the time women get to the year 25 or 30, 35, even 40 now, we're giving birth. What does that mean? Sometimes you actually want to see that you work in a conducive environment that enables you as a woman to be able to raise your family, at the same time to be able to give your very best at work. A number of media houses lack basic facilities, including baby nursing rooms, or even nursing rooms for mothers. You will need, it's really, we are in a space where we can dignify womanhood, we can dignify women. Today we were watching news, I think at one, and I think AMWIK, we are releasing a statement concerning this, where we have seen that women are being undignified just because there was a part or sanitary pad that was found within the area. Well, I understand it's a dustbin, so I really don't understand what's the fuss about that. And women yesterday were being undressed to find out who is going through menstruation. Such kind of indignity, if I would call it, or such kind really of, it's very nauseating to really understand that women will be undressed in some places. And so you want to work in a space where you feel you can walk around knowing that my periods are dignified. You can walk around knowing that you have a child care policy that defines you as a woman. But in most cases, that also gives you something like to do with flexi hours. These are provisions that we imagine that should be able to be given to women so that they can really perform to their best. In most cases, they're not there. So these are some of the challenges that women have had to go through. And at a personal level, I am trying to see that we can continue advocating for safer spaces for working for women, also conducive spaces for women, places that adhere to set policies, including sexual harassment policies at the workplace.
Brilliant. Thank you. So tell us about AMWIK, the Association of Women in Media in Kenya. Tell us more about AMWIK and why you even decided to take such a position, executive director. I mean, it's not a small position also at the same time. Tell us about AMWIK.
Well, I say I am a woman also. I mean, I am who I am today because AMWIK has molded me. I have been an AMWIK member for the last 16 years. I joined AMWIK in my in my first year in my first year in my career when I worked at Baraka FM. A friend who worked at Baraka FM then, Teresa Mwanyika, told me about AMWIK. I didn't know about AMWIK, and told me, and I said, well, I was leaving Baraka to come to Nairobi at some point, I think. And she told me, when you get to Nairobi, ensure you visit AMWIK and register as a member. And when I registered, it didn't take me long, 2 years into my career. When I went to Norway as an exchange participant. The networks, the experience that I got and the skills that I got as a young girl within the media was shaped by AMWIK. The opportunity that I got was shaped by AMWIK. And from then, I vowed that I will always be an AMWIK member. And I have always said this in many places, and in many meetings, and especially AMWIK meetings, that even if everybody leaves AMWIK, I, Patience Nyange, will always be a member. Because the networks that I made in AMWIK, the networks that I made courtesy of AMWIK for me when I went to Norway are still intact. I still have my friends visiting me from Norway. I made those networks then. It's about 10, 12 years now. I have an opportunity to visit Norway whenever I want. And my bosses in Norway really molded me and shaped me and really showed me what I could be and some of the opportunities that existed within this profession. I traveled almost 10, I think, countries when I was in Norway, simply because I got the opportunity to be there. Well, my battery is running low, so let me start preparing for my exit to join this conversation.
It's okay. Actually, I see a number of people online with some very good questions. I really hope you won't disappoint them.
Yeah.
We have 14 minutes to go, so
Okay.
You can just tell us just in case it drops.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to see if this is going to be a possibility, but I also need to go and look for my Rose. A holder to my phone so I can be able to. Yeah.
That's okay. So without further ado, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. I would like us to continue this conversation another time so that we can allow Patience to actually be able to put things together. This conversation has not ended, and this conversation is by Patience Nyange, who is MPRSK and Executive Director of AMWIK Kenya. My name is Ohiga K. Muturi, and I'm happy to have been able to host this. So I'm looking forward to another conversation with Patience. But let's see in the meantime if she's still available. Patience?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just trying to join through via the phone. Yeah. So
Great.
I think maybe
I
you
was
will
just
see. I don't know
telling
what
my
you will see from
audience.
there. Maybe.
Okay, I was just telling my audience that we definitely will be having this conversation once again, so that you're also not under pressure to be able to sort out what you need to sort out. But I can let you wrap up on the meaningfulness of AMWIK and the meaningfulness of the work that you do, and then we can close up on that. Are you there? Okay, great. As I wait for you to be able to set that up, let us go on a short commercial break. Thank you.
Mm.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you. Welcome back. Patience, can you still hear us?
Yes, I can
Hello,
hear you.
Patience.
I just figured out a
Oh,
bit.
great.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
loud and clear.
cool. Just give me a second. I'm trying to change
That's okay.
to a different laptop that I hope. Let me see if this one has. Well,
That is okay.
mm,
That is okay. Great. I will allow you to do that. In the meantime, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today, the 6th of July, in this conversation about women in media in Kenya and Africa. Thank you so much for making this conversation meaningful. We had Patience Nyange, and she's still coming on board as she's finishing her setup. But what I would like you to do is actually just write in a question or a comment, and let us be able to have that conversation with her. I would like to thank some of our hosts who are KYR Africa, which is a civic and citizen education platform, the Future of Work, which is a jobs platform, Startinev, which is an innovation ecosystem platform, and Let's Create Africa, which is an entrepreneur support organization, leveraging PR, communications, and media to bridge opportunities to the bottom of the pyramid. Let's see. Patience, are you ready?
I am.
Good.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. We just want to make this a bit. Hello?
Yeah. Hello?
Yes.
Well, I'm not sure whether you see me. Can you see me? No?
Yes,
Or
we
you can
can
hear
see
me?
you. We can see you, but your video has stopped.
My
But
video
we
has
can hear.
stopped.
Yeah,
Well,
but we can hear you loud and
Let's
clear.
continue like that for a minute as I try and change to a different device altogether. I'm
That
just
is
changing
okay.
to a different laptop, so give me 1 minute.
That is okay.
Yeah. So where were we?
I just asked, can you, so that we wrap up and continue this conversation again, please tell us about AMWIK and its meaningfulness within the ecosystem. And last but not least, your last words as we close up.
Okay. Well, so I was trying to tell you, is giving you my own personal experience.
We lost you again, Patience. Hello, Patience. Okay, as we await for Patience, allow me to go through a conversation that we had with her, and she was talking about women in media. Number one, saying that women in media are not allowed to the seat at the table. Number two, sexual violence, sexually based gender violence, which is common within the media space, especially for women. And third, last but not least, is that women need to be heard and be given equal opportunities. So, for those who missed out on today's conversation, my name is Wahiga Kemuturi, and I was with Patience Nyange, MPRSK, Communications, Media, and Advocacy Specialist with over 18 years of experience. She's the Executive Director of Association of Media Women in Kenya and has worked with both international and local media houses in Kenya. And I think she's back. Let's see. Patience, we can see you.
But can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, cool. My apologies again. Yeah.
It's okay. Loud and clear. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
So,
really.
yes, please. So you can wrap up as we wrap up on AMWIK.
Yes, so I said from a personal perspective is the fact that I have been a huge beneficiary. I have really made contacts that I wouldn't have made if I was in AMWIK. I have had an opportunity to really give back to AMWIK. And even now, this position, because you asked about this position, for me, how I look at it is my opportunity to give back to AMWIK. I see huge potential in AMWIK. And in my understanding is that AMWIK can really, is the place that all women who probably are working within the media space need to be. For young people who we visit in campuses, most of the time, one of the things that we tell them is we are deliberate about really giving them an opportunity to be, and really giving them an opportunity to be able to shine and to give them networks. We have opportunities for them to join simply because we are deliberate about their inclusion. We are also deliberate about creating opportunities for internships for them, and also really being able to network with people that they wouldn't have had if they were not in that space. Because I am a living example. I am a living testimony that being in the space with other people and professionals, there's a mentorship that happens. Now, a number of the women that I call my mentors are women that I also found within the space. And therefore, they have also given me an opportunity to be able to belong, an opportunity to really give me a space and to see how it is that we can shape. So we can shape the future of women working within the media space. So for me, what I'm doing within my space now is to create a movement of women who are within the space, to be able to inspire one another, to be able to support each other within this profession, and also to be in a space where we can create policies that favor women working within the media space. There are many challenges, but also AMWIK has been in the forefront to really advocate for a space that can easily give an opportunity for women to thrive. So our constant conversations, to be able to network with one another, to engage with one another, has always confirmed that we have a space that we can be and can be our very, very, very best. So, yeah. Are you there, Wahiga?
Yes, I am here, and I can hear you loud and clear, so it's okay. So as you finish up, what would be your last words to us in regard to the conversation that we've been having around women in media?
Many things. One, we have enough space for everybody. There's enough space for all women. And we don't need to fight one another for the sake of us to belong. And it's not just in media or just within the women that we are here, but also in the space that we are in. Wahiga, this is your space. Let's Create Africa is a space that you have curated, is a space that you've given us, all of us, an opportunity to come on board to share conversations, and also to just talk about the issues that affect us on a day-to-day basis. What I'm looking for is a place where we can all support one another in the work that we do. A space that we can always really be ready to encourage each other, to see that we can work together, and also just to see the very best in each other. If you're in a space where I can support you, Wahiga, I'm happy to do that. If you're in a space where you can support me, I'll be very grateful to get the space for you. To get the support from you. So what I'm looking for, and I'm thinking about the future, I'm looking for a future that we can all collaborate. We can all be there to cheer each other up. We can all be there to celebrate one another and genuinely celebrate one another. I'm looking at a future where women have a conducive space to work, a conducive space to give it their very best, in a society that does not look at them as lesser human beings, and in a society that does not look down upon them. So we are looking for an opportunity that we can all support each other, whether it's ecological support, whether it's, spiritual support, whether it's financial support, to be there as a sister's keeper, to be there as my brother's keeper. So that's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking at a place where we can all thrive and get to a space where media people are respected, where media people are dignified. For a long time, we continue losing our dignity because of the work that we do. We get to a space where, we look at each other as competitors. We look at each other as people who we cannot really live together, be always constantly fighting one another, whether it's our seniors, whether it's the level where we are in, whether it's the younger people. And I believe that that can change. So it's my prayer that this conversation and the space that you're giving us today, Wahiga, opens a bigger conversation for us, or sustains the conversation on how we can collectively use the power of media to create a future that is admired by many people, a future that dignifies us, and a future that leaves us better than we are today. So if you get into a role that you're in a place that we can celebrate you, we can support you, let's be there to support you. Let's be there to give you all the support that you want and really be your cheer leaders.
Thank you so much, Patience. And with 3 minutes to go to the top of the hour and us finishing the conversation, thank you so much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, today I was hosting Patience Nyange, who, despite the challenges, has seemed to overcome it all and join us. Yes, Jerry Gladys, she is quite a powerhouse. And Ayeko, Tina, thank you for following. We are happy to be seeing all of you guys. Please remember to follow us on YouTube. That is Let's Create Africa. LETSCREATE Africa with the C. Africa as it is. And I see also a comment from Christine Karanja. Thank you immensely for facilitating this, Wahiga. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, Christine. Kudos, Patience, on defying the status quo. And Patience, we have so many questions. I mean, I have so many questions that I have over 52 questions that were sent to us by, I think, Tuesday, just to ask Patience. And we are not even halfway, I'm telling you. So we are, as myself and my audience are requesting for another time with you, hopefully next month. We'll definitely plan that separately. But we would like to have you again. For those who don't know, Patience is MPRSK, that's member of Public Relations Society of Kenya, and the executive director of AMWIK. AMWIK is, please tell them what AMWIK is for those who missed.
AMWIK is a membership organization, and it stands for Association of Media Women in Kenya. A number of the time that I know my male colleagues have told me, we're changing this organization to mean Association of Media Workers in Kenya, so that you can keep the name AMWIK, but also you can give us an opportunity to belong. And well, the conversation from AMWIK members, the answer has always been no. So just get it that it can only remain Association of Media Women in Kenya and not Media Workers in Kenya.
I will not get into that politics, but I think the last thing I might ask you, and even in lieu of the conversation that was on one of the mainstream television screen yesterday, the CAS information, ICT in Kenya was supposedly insinuated that there'll be a conversation around how media operates in Kenya. What do you, so far, how do you think the role of media and government, how do you feel the relationship has been between the two?
Well, the relationship can be better. And I saw the effort by Hussein Mohammed, the State House spokesperson, trying to bring in the editors together for conversation. I have seen how we have been clobbered in many, in a nutshell, if that's what I will say. And I've seen also the president talk about media in a way, I will support you. Whether you're biased, whether you don't support us as a government, we will be there to support you. There have been many people who have discussed media in a way that we don't like. All we are asking for is to be dignified. All we are asking for is an opportunity for us to do our best in the work that we do. We're not asking for much. Our work is enshrined and protected by the Constitution of Kenya. And because we have our powers derived from the Constitution of Kenya, it only means that the work that we do is work that is protected. It's work that we want to see the members who work within the media fraternity are protected. And therefore, we're not asking the government to be friends with the media. All we are asking for is give us a conducive space to be able to do our best. Give us an opportunity to call you out when you have gone wrong. Correct us also in an amiable way. Protect us, because that's what we're asking for. The journalist that you see out there is someone's daughter, someone's son, is somebody's mother, is somebody's, father, is somebody's sisters, or someone's brother. So we are saying that we are much more beyond what you see as in a name. I could be here, this is Patience, but I represent a whole family that depends on me, family that I support, family of people, and a community that depends on me. So what we are saying is there's much more we can do, and we would love to do other things. But because we're here, most of us look at this profession as a calling. And because we do that, all we are asking for is a conducive environment for us to be able to do our work and to do it in a manner that helps us, to be sure that we can leave our homes in peace, and we're happy to come back in peace. So we are calling upon the president, calling upon politicians, and calling upon all leaders to really give us an opportunity, or give the media people, to do their work in a peaceful manner, in an amiable manner, and in a dignified manner. Are you there, Wahiga?
Thank you, Patience.
Hi, are you? I think, well, I'm not sure whether you're muted on your end.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can.
Thank you. Thank you. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our conversation today. My name is Wahiga K. Muturi, and I was hosting Patience Nyange, MPRSK, and Executive Director of AMWIK. God bless you and have a great evening.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you, and thank you so much for giving me this space. I'm happy to come back to you whenever you have an opportunity to have us on board. We are happy to come back again. Thank you for hosting me. Asante sana.